So now, as you can see, I have all my debt written down. So this is my snowball effect. And I just put the first couple so you can see, but I will break it down here. So basically I have a balance of $408. My minimum payment is $58. I did work a little extra, so I got some extra money for January. So I'm going to put an extra $350 to that for January and pay that debt off. So then for February, we're going to have $414, but I'm going to put this over here so I can show you. So $408 minus $408 equals zero balance, January. Then for February, our next one, the original balance was $414. But because I still paid that minimum payment for February's balance, that made it $345. I'm now going to pay the $69 minimum payment plus the $58 that I was originally paying there on the original first debt. And that will give me $127. So 345 minus 127 equals $218. So in March of 2023, now that balance is $218 because I paid an extra $127. I'm sorry, I paid an extra $58, which equaled $127 in February. So now that left my balance of $218 for March. So now I do get a bonus every year from my job, one of my jobs. So what I'm going to do is take some of that bonus, pay that off. That'll put that balance at zero. Also, I'm going to take some of the bonus from some of the bonus money and pay off these next debts. So $559. Now this was my original amount in January, but because I've been paying the minimum payment of $280, 559 minus 280 for January equals 279, 280 for February, and that paid that debt off. So that actually ended up being paid off in February of 23. So I'm actually going to erase this. So even though I was paying the minimum payment was large enough where it ended up paying that debt off. So there's no extra there. So then my next one would be $1,117. So in January, it was $1,117. I paid the minimum payment, remember, because I was paying more on the original debt. So the minimum payment was $118. So minus $118 for January, minus $118 for February, which left a balance of $941 for March. I'm going to take some of the bonus money and pay $941, brings that balance to zero. The next one was the credit card, one of the credit cards. That balance was $12.66. The minimum payment was $20. Plus you have a 4% interest, but the minimum payment just always stays $20 because of that. That was $40 because that would have been $20 paid in January, $20 paid in February. Okay, so that would be $40, which brings that balance to 12, give or take, like I said, with interest, give or take 26, 12.26. I'm going to take some of the bonus money, pay that, brings that to zero. And then my next one is care credit. That balance was $59.63 with an interest rate. The minimum payment was $154. So again, as you pay your debt down, the minimum payment is going to get smaller, but I just keep the same minimum payment, and that helps keep it a lot easier. So $59.63 minus $154 from January minus $154 from February brought that balance to $56.55. I'm going to take some of the bonus money and pay that debt off. And as far as a debt repayment for my bonus, I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm going to go back and start with my next debt. So these will all be paid off in March. So then starting in April, now I want to take what I was paying on a minimum and put it towards the extra for this debt, because this is my next debt to be paid off. And remember, you always want to take your minimum of the debt you pay off and add it to the next debt to be paid off. So my balance in January was $95.71. Paid $300 in January, $300 in February, $300 in March. So in April, my starting balance should be $86.71. I'm going to take the $300 plus these minimum payments. So that would be the $300 plus $154 plus $20 plus $118 plus $280 plus $69 plus $58 equals $999. And that's how much I'm going to pay towards that debt. So then come May, we have paid at $999 in April, and that should bring our balance to $76.72 for May. This is April. So as you can see, staying consistent, I've paid these off, but I still want to, I've already accounted for this monthly payment. So I still want to take all of this and add it on to this one. So that's the whole point of the snowball effect. Sometimes people will pay debt off and they're like, oh, I got this extra, now I can do this. But if you truly want to pay off your debt, you have to stick to the plan, which is taking the minimum payment from the previous debt paid and adding it to that. That way your debt gets paid off a lot quicker. Because as you can see, that's, instead of $300, that's $999 now that I'm paying. So then this debt gets paid off a lot quicker. So once this gets paid off, then I can roll all of this amount onto the next debt. But again, as you're paying every month, this balance will get lower, give or take, with the interest. But it will get lower, but you still want to stick to what your original plan is. Even though your minimum payment may become lower, you've already, again, you've accounted for taking this money out of your checking account or out of your monthly budget every month. So just stick to that instead of lowering it as the payments get lower. Stick to what you've already budgeted for, and it'll get paid off a lot quicker. So that's what I'm doing here, because I've accounted for that. Even though I paid those off, I'm still taking that minimum and adding it on and putting it towards my debt until this one is paid off. And then once that's paid off, then I'll take that amount and put it to this one. And it'll get paid off a lot quicker because I'm putting more money onto it. So that is my plan of how the snowball effects, that's how the snowball effect works. That's my plan to get these debts paid off a lot quicker. It'll get me towards my goal a lot quicker. Again, it's sticking to the plan. It's always a good plan, but if you don't stick to the plan, it doesn't work. So there may be adjustments and stuff, One of the biggest things, as Dave Ramsey usually talks about, if any of you ever follow Dave Ramsey, is to have an emergency fund. So you want to have at least $1,000 in an emergency fund. That's the minimum amount you should have. That should account for, like, if you have like car repairs or, you know, some kind of home repair or apartment or medical or something like that that you're not accounted for. You have that extra $1,000. That's not when you want that extra, that purse that's on sale, or you want that pair of shoes that looks good. Do not use this money for that. This is emergency funds only. I have to stress that, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I got this all saved up, I can just use that. No, this is emergency funds only. Define emergency. Things that come up that you do not expect. The other thing you should do, if you can't afford it, you can get what I call fun funds. So if you want to take $20, $50, if you have left over in your budget, and put it in an account called fun funds. This accounts for your fun stuff. When that purse goes on sale, that bracelet or those shoes that you always wanted. This is your fun funds. Keep this separate from your emergency funds. So that way you can say, I got this amount of money in my fun funds. This is what I want. The other thing is justify. Okay, I want this new purse. It's $300, but I've been wanting this purse for so long. Is it justifiable for me to get this purse? Do I really need this purse? Yes, it's a cute purse. Do I need this purse? Do I have 15 other purses that I'm not using because I really like that purse? So write it down and write a justification, whether or not I really need, or should I spend that money on that? Or should I take that $300 and just put it towards my debt? You have to make that decision. But that's one of the ways that you can justify not spending money unnecessarily. Again, this is my suggestion. Always have that emergency fund and have fun funds. And that way you can keep those separate, and you always have something for emergencies, because you never know when things will come up. And once you pay down all your debt, the next goal is to make this emergency fund even higher. So most of them say 3 to 6 months of your monthly income should be in your emergency fund. Only after you have paid your debt down. That's part of the snowball effect. But right now, for this video, the whole thing is to basically show you how the snowball effect works, how you can move ahead, and how it does justify paying your debt down if you stick to the plan. So I hope this helped. I do have, but I'll go into a separate video with that. But I do have these sheets that I had pulled that I had used before. And then this is how I track my snowball. I put each account on a separate piece of paper. And as I'm paying it off, I write it down. So that's how I do my snowball. You can do this with an Excel sheet. You can do it by hand. You can just write it down. But this is how I do my snowball effect. So I just have these little sheets that I use. And then I have them marked as to how I'm paying them down. So as far as like, this is the first one, so forth. So I just have little numbers up in here as to, so it keeps me on track. Okay. Again, I hope this video was helpful for you. Hopefully you can start the snowball effect if you have debt, and help you get paid off a lot quicker. Help you get disciplined to not spend unnecessary things unless you have a fun funds. Again, that's what I call it, fun funds. So those are funds for you to have fun with, but only if you can afford it on your monthly budget, and only if you are sticking to your budget as far as a snowball effect, or if you use some other type of budgeting to pay down your debt. But either way, your main goal should be to pay down your debt. Have that $1,000 emergency fund, and then think about your fun funds. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I hope there was some information that helped you. If you have any comments, concerns, things you want to see in the future, let me know. I will be doing a separate video on how I set up my actual monthly budget. So I hope you'll tune in for that. Again, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye. GoPro stop.